Well, of course, Mad Dog not only struck fear into the hearts of his opponents, he also struck fear into his former tag team partners. And our first presenter is one of those former tag team partners. A man whose jokes are even older than mine, and that's saying something. The very first Intercontinental Champion, ladies and gentlemen, Pat Patterson.
Well, very happy to be here tonight, but there's something strange about me being here tonight. Because tonight I'm introducing a Mad Dog. And 2 years ago in Orlando, I introduced an old dog, Mae Young. And the old bag is not here tonight. But anyway, I met Mad Dog Vachon in Montreal when I was a kid. I was 18 years old. I broke into the business, and I was so afraid of that man. I've never seen a man so dangerous, so rough. He didn't care about anybody. He wasn't afraid of anybody. And then a couple of years later, he's in Portland, Oregon, and I'm in Boston making no money. I'm making $65 a week and working every night. And I was happy. I was working every night. I get a letter from Mad Dog Vachon. He got me booked in Portland, Oregon. And from that point on, that's where I made my big step, and that's why I'm here today. And I want to thank Mad Dog, and I'm happy to be here. But a funny thing, thank you. Mad Dog has tried over the years to help a lot of French-Canadian wrestlers to come to the States and try to have a career. Most of them didn't make it. Some went only so far, didn't make it. But there's two guys that really made it. Had a long career and a big career coming in from Quebec, Canada. The first one, obviously, was Mad Dog Vachon, and the second one was me. Thanks to Mad Dog. Let me see, I was gonna say something. I'm forgetting everything. You know, last week my doctor told me I had Alzheimer's. And I told Doc, what am I gonna do now? He says, go home and forget about it. He told me, don't worry about it, you won't watch any rerun. And he told me I can hide my own Easter eggs. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. WrestleMania. And I must be honest with you, I'm pulling for Shawn Michaels. I don't want this guy to stop wrestling. He entertained me for years. And in my book, he is the best I've ever seen. That's true, Shawn. And I want to see some more. And tomorrow night, I'm looking forward to see Vince McMahon get his ass kicked. Brett, do it. You deserve. Brett, you got screwed. It's your chance tomorrow. I can't wait. Batista's looking at me funny. I won't say nothing because he may jump on the stage. I'm an old timer, remember. So anyway, in Portland, Oregon, I was wrestling, and the first night that I wrestled there, the promoter gives me $300. Right after the match, gives me $300. I go to Mad Dog, I said, Mad Dog, he made a mistake, he gave me too much money. No, he said, that's your payoff. Besides that, he probably screwed you anyway. Mad Dog lived on the outskirts of town. And every once in a while, and I live downtown, I had a little apartment downtown. And every once in a while, he would have a little argument with his wife. And many times the cops came over and said, Dog, you gotta leave the house. And who would knock on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning? The dog. And that happened quite a few times, and finally I had to tell him, Mad Dog, you can't keep knocking on my door like this all the time. You're gonna ruin my reputation. I guess some of you got it, some of you didn't. But anyway, I am very proud and happy to be here tonight, and I really, really want to thank him from the bottom of my heart, and he knows it. I'd like to present to you the one and the only, the Mad Dog! Come on out!
This is how I introduce myself most of the time. Mad Dog is the name, and wrestling is the game. If you don't like my face, come and tell me to my face, dog talk behind my back. I'm Mad Dog Vachon, and I approve of this message. I made a fast count. I was in wrestling, between amateur wrestling and professional wrestling. I was in wrestling for 44 years. I made a fast count. I had 13,000 matches. Do you know why I became a wrestler? It's because of my name. Vachon le cochon, Vachon le cochon. You know, kids in school sometimes be cruel on one another, at one another. And the kids used to call me Vachon le cochon. That means Vachon the pig. And you had to wear a white shirt in school in those days. That was a regulation. And I come home often with my white shirt full of blood. And my father was a sergeant detective, one of the strongest men in the world. And he had a voice stronger than mine. Maurice, you've been fighting again? Yes, I have. Did you win? Yes, I did. It's all right then.
Hey, Dog, why don't you mention and tell us how you became a Mad Dog? Where did that come from?
It was in Portland, Oregon. Don Owens, a promoter. I was wrestling in Hawaii, and Ed Francis, the promoter in Hawaii, says, Don Owens, a promoter from Portland, Oregon, is going to be here in a couple of weeks. And if you want to go wrestle for him, he's a wonderful man to work for. And you can start wrestling for him. I said, okay. So he said, you're going to be really wild when you go to Portland, Oregon, because the champion of Hawaii, Curtis Iakia, he hit the wrestling announcer on TV with a chair. So when you go there, you're going to be wild. So Don Owens, he told me, he says, you know what? It was the war between France and Algeria. We're going to tell the people you come from Algeria. They tried to assassinate General de Gaulle. So I went in the ring. My opponent was in the ring. The referee was not there yet. I jump around like a kangaroo all over the ring, and I pick up my opponent. I gave him a couple of body slams in the middle of the ring, and I threw him outside the ring on a cement floor. The referee came running in. I did the same thing with the referee, gave him a couple of body slams, and I threw him across the road into the floor or two, and I jumped outside. There was a police officer there with a stick. He tried to hit me over the head. I threw him in the third row. And when I came back in the dressing room, Don Owen, he said, you look just like a Mad Dog. I said, wonderful, what a story. And it don't fit anybody better than me. I have the teeth, I have the voice, I have the hair on my chest, and I am a Mad Dog. And I made a fast count. Like I said, in wrestling, I made a fast count. In wrestling, amateur and professional, I had 13,000 matches.
Hey, Doug, how about this? How about telling us about the time you were on the plane and you opened the door?
Please, you're making me sick already. I had a few beers after the wrestling in Omaha, Nebraska. I was going back to the Twin Cities. It was in the summertime. And I opened the door of the airplane. Isn't that silly? That was me. And the door opened up on top like this, and the step would go down like this. And I had the seat belt down, and I went like this. I said, wow, it's a wonderful night to die tonight. I was like this. So when I came back to the Twin Cities, because the door of the airplane, the two parts was kind of crooked, they were damaged, and they charged me $500. That was the last time I opened up the airplane door.
How about the time you did a commercial in Winnipeg?
Oh yes, I used to make, I met somebody on the aircraft, and he talked me into going in business with him for an eyeglass company. And the eyeglass company was called Specs Unlimited. And I used to do the commercial on TV for Specs Unlimited for eyeglass company. And pretty soon, in a couple of years, we had 7 stores. And one day, I give you an example of what kind of a commercial I used to make. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can get a pair of glasses. Prescription glasses, $39.99. Prescription glasses. And a beautiful girl, about 17, 18 years old, with a short and beautiful suntan, would interrupt me. Are you Mad Dog Vachon? Yes, I am. I think you're cute. And she'd walk away. Boy, does she need glasses. And then in Montreal, they asked me, I made a commercial for the Labatt beer. It's not only a Labatt, it's a Labatt Light. And it was the biggest, the most successful commercial in the history of Montreal. Made the front page of the TV Guide. Mad Dog Vachon with Labatt Light. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm over here today because my wife, Kathy, I live in Omaha, Nebraska now, and my wife Kathy is a nurse. And when he asked my wife, where do we live? She said, we live in Omaha, Nebraska, where men are men and women can be if they want to. But, you know, like my dad, when like I said, my name is what made me become a wrestler. And the kids used to call me, you know, Vachon, Cochon, Vachon, Cochon. I'm repeating again. I had to wear a white shirt in school, and I come home often. My white shirt was full of blood. My father had very strong words. But you've been fighting again. Yes, Papa, I have. Did you win? Yes, I did. It's all right then. And one day he says, Maurice, he says, you know,
Maurice, why don't you tell him the story that when you came back from New Zealand, you won a medal in the British Empire Games. And when he arrived in Montreal, he went by boat and came back by boat. It took about 3 months. There was only 2 Canadians that won a medal. And he expected a big parade when he got to Montreal. There was one guy at the airport, that was his brother. But tonight, it's your time, it's your moment. Okay?